for 200 plus years, and we get to be alive at a time to see it fall. I believe in the power of one person working as a team with other Christian patriots can have massive impact in 200 plus years. This ungodly culture. We get to be alive. I believe at a time we have an omniscient, to see it fall. Present, and I believe in the power God that has put His hand on this moment in time to deny the timeline of the enemy and is about to heal our land. This is Rick, your host. And I believe that God has called me to empower Christian patriots with truth. Join us now for the Blessed to Teach show, and let's see what God is doing today. Welcome, it's Rick B2T here. We're going to be empowering Christian patriots truth the next few hours. This first hour, we're going to go over the news about trust the plan, trust Trump, patriots in control, America first. All these Department of Labor social media posts, tweets, actually confirming Q more than ever, right? So how can you argue with it now? If you really understand after I talked to you about this, that you don't think that this is a Trump operation, a psyop on the deep state, a way to wake up through the Socratic method of people to get them investigating and thinking for themselves. I don't know what to tell you. It's just a fact. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about those specific drops from the Department of Labor, believe it or not. We're talking about Iran, Venezuela, and much more. And what is Trump going to be doing in all these situations? Cuba as well. And then the last hour, we'll go to the other word and worship, or what I've renamed Growing with Faith Word and Worship. That is where we will be on that Rumble channel, as well as Faith and Freedom TV live on the second hour. So don't miss that as well. We'll do the raid over there as well, making it easier for everybody. But let's get started on jumping into some of this information. We're going to be really digging in a lot into what Trump's doing in multiple areas. This is just quite exciting if you think about the power that he has now. The patriots are really in control. This is really going to take out the whole axis of evil, as many people have called it, right? The Iran, as well as the power that China has right now, the power that Russia has comparably. I know we have the sovereign nations that are fighting the cabal. I think that doesn't change the fact that the CCP is evil. The fact that there's pieces of Iran that wants to destroy the United States, right? There's very key parts of the cabal are active in some of these nations that may be working with Trump anyway. But let's dig into this. This is like a post by they're just talking about the Ayatollah, and this guy's evil. That's all there is to it, guys. Look at this. His whole economy is like $100 billion, according to estimates. Ali Khamenei's that Ayatollah, right? Fortune is valued between $250 billion and $300 billion. This is a classic autocrat that just takes all the money. Just to give you an idea, this amount is about 3 times larger than the state budget of Iran. So that just shows you what they're rebelling against. Reporter to Trump: is your administration in contact with the leaders of the Iranian opposition as things are happening? Trump says yes. What's the message to them? You will find out pretty soon. And we got some of that answer today. So we'll look at that here, right here. Let's see. There it is. Iran is looking to freedom perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help Trump. And this is a little bit earlier, but this talks about Secretary of War Hegseth retweets Trump's words. And so that's when the Secretary of War retweets that that they're going to be doing this. Now, there's a lot of reports that there's still quite a bit of shooting innocent civilians, maybe in the thousands in Iran. And that was Trump's warning, right? And we've had more updates on what he's thinking now. Here he is saying, effective immediately, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all businesses being done between the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is basically just re-implementing even harsher sanctions, if you will, another motivation for people not to work with Iran and give Trump more leverage over his discussions with Iran. And so this is pretty much get out of the way and let the people choose their government. They've been 49 years, I think it is, that they've been taken over by this Islamic Republic and put in Sharia law, very, very strict Sharia law, where women couldn't go to college anymore, women couldn't study, women couldn't speak, women couldn't do anything, right? And this is a satanic thing. I really believe it is. If you really look at Sharia law, it is direct from Satan, right? No equal rights whatsoever, and suppressive, and basically instead of the Bible talking about treating those that you're living with in your land well, just like Israel demonstrates when they have Christians in their government, they have Christians living all over the place as well as Muslims living with the Israelis in peace. And there's no barriers for all those people, all these people going out into Israeli citizens, which are Muslim as well as Jewish, as well as Christian, as well as Hindus, right? All these religions, they can go out to all the Palestinian territories, but all the Palestinians, they have to have blockades. Why? Because that's where the extremists are trying to come and kill Israelis, right? Primarily, they want to kill the Jewish people in Israel. Whole point being is that there's a big difference between the Bible that is God's seed and what happened in 600 AD with the Islamic Sharia law and the evilness of what it teaches to damage and subjugate everybody and actually kill your enemies, even those living in your land. You force them to become Muslim, or they get taxed heavily, or they're intimidated, or they're killed. There's no freedom in Sharia law countries, right? It's completely opposite of our Constitution. Our Constitution aligns with biblical principles. The Sharia law does not even come close to doing that. It's very important. Now, here's Trump doing his normal trolling. Here he is saying, I'm the acting president of Venezuela. So he posts this. This is on his True Social, right? Right there. And there's Trump putting this official portrait 2025, acting president of Venezuela. So to put that up there is less boasting, I believe, and more a message to his cabal enemies, right? Saying, I'm going to do to you what I just did to Venezuela if you don't come in line. Come in line and stop trying to destroy America, because that's what they want to do. They can't have a one world government with a strong United States that's fighting it, right? So that is really interesting, and it's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. I want somebody to make sure everything's going well on Rumble here. Looks like it is. Good. We're set. Looks like we're on YouTube. Thanks. Looks like Paul Apostle H. Good. Thank you for seeing you here. But this is a message to the rest of the cabal from Colombia. If you don't come in line and stop trying to destroy America, I'm going to be the president of Cuba. And if you don't come in line, Greenland and the European Union, I'm going to be the president of Greenland. Not to mention the president of Canada. Canada, you better come in line. This is the acting president of Venezuela. That is a total message to the cabal crowd, and very, very interesting how he's playing this game. When it comes back to Iran, guys, this is again just to see that the $250 to $300 billion estimates of Khomeini's fortunes, when people can't even get water in their country, right? It's like have no freedoms. And so I just want to really make a stark contrast between a capitalistic slash what they call Judeo-Christian values or just Christian values and what the Constitution supports versus what Sharia law is. It's two completely different things from two different kingdoms, right? I think that's incredibly important to understand. And the people there are rejecting Islam. They're rejecting that the mosques are empty there. Many of them they're having to turn into churches, which is against the law, but they're still doing that in kind of secret. The whole point is that the Christianity is growing like mad and it's one of the fastest growing religions. There's been a lot of documentation of that and even movies done about it. And it's a bunch of Christians that we need to be praying for. So please lift up the Iranian people. We have Shuri Backstage here, who is a beautiful person from Iran that speaks Farsi and came here and became a believer as part of our ministry. It's just been, her heart is been so heavy over the last year, and now this is the time when we have to pray for them because they turned off the internet so that they can't document the shootings of the people there, right? So Iran is important. It's very important to this whole plan of because of the major funders of everybody that's creating the massive problems within the Middle East. Obviously, the cabal wanted an Israel that was colonistic and a Palestinian people and a bunch of terrorists, and that they could purposely have wars to sell bombs and everything to Israel and obviously through things like Iran Contras and everything to sell arms to all the terrorists and always be doing what they do best, fund both sides of the wars. That's what this cabal does. They fund both sides of wars, and we got to understand that. We understand that what it wants. But when you take away Iran, who's the major funder of Hezbollah, major funder of the Houthis down there, major funder of even massive money was going to Hezbollah, to Hamas as well. You start seeing that, wow, you take, if Iran was moved back into more of a secular place, but hopefully more of a Christian organization, they had a lot of Christianity there in the past, right? And the Islamic invasion, we talk about the Crusades a lot of times when it was like a response to basically Islam taking over the entire Middle East, which used to be a Christian country, obviously, because that's where Christianity started in that area, right? And obviously, Christianity started in Jerusalem. It's where that's where the Holy Spirit came down in Jerusalem, in Israel. That's where Christianity started, right? And spread throughout with all the Paulinian journeys that he took, missionary journeys, and it spread all throughout the area where the Islamic takeover happened after 600 AD when all the jihads happened to all the Christians and the Jews. So I just think it's very important to understand that. A lot of people just look at things for the last few hundred years when we need to be looking at it. But this threat from Trump, I believe, we know Obama just stood by when this happened during his term, and he let them get slaughtered. And what's got these people out there in masses even more because they see what Trump's posting. A post like this: Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help. The fact and that's why they're naming streets after him. They're changing the names of streets to Trump, right? With a sticker that goes over different road signs. This is a rebellion against a satanic system of Sharia law, is what this really comes down to. Effectively, legally, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25%. This is Trump always using his tariffs as massive leverage, right? Because the Iranians are broke right now. They've had a huge drought. You can tell that. I believe that's a thing from the Lord, judging the country for continuing to suppress its people despite getting wiped out in the 12-day war and losing their nuclear weapons. So that was their dream, to destroy Israel. Their hatred for Israel derangement syndrome is so bad that they can't even support their own people. They're dictators that keep their own wealth and spend everything else on bombs to destroy Israel, right? And so we need to understand this is a spiritual war, and we need to pray for the Iranian people and for the takeover of that. We do people hate to talk about regime change. We shouldn't be afraid of that, and Trump's not afraid to talk about it. This is trying to do regime change when you're a cabal of globalists. That's different than when you're trying to do it for America first. America first is not America alone. And that means having an Iran stabilizes the Middle East and brings peace to big parts of the world. And you have way less wars. That's America first thinking. So yes, we want regime change like we got in Venezuela. And yes, we want regime change in Iran, where the psychos spend all their money trying to destroy Israel. That's part of this cabal's paying for both wars. We say no to that in the mighty name of Jesus, right? So there he is, saying, I am now the acting president of Venezuela. And that message to the cabal is clear. Now here's his direct message to Cuba. He says, Cuba lived for many years on large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela. In return, Cuba provided the security services for the last two Venezuelan dictators. But not anymore, all in caps. Most of those Cubans are dead, all caps, DEAD, from last week's USA attack. And Venezuela doesn't need protection anymore from the thugs and extortionists who held them hostage for so many years. There's Trump speaking extremely bluntly right there. Venezuela now has the United States of America, the most powerful military in the world by far, to protect them. And protecting them, we will. So there's a lot of talk about the Qataris negotiated with Delcies, because Delcies knew they were going to get wiped out because they're the head of the cartels there. And that includes Delcy Rodriguez and her brother Rodriguez as well. I think it's Ivan Rodriguez. Those two sold out most likely. There's a lot of different discussions about theories about did he already do a deal with Trump and they came in and rescued him? That's one. I don't believe that. I believe that the Delcy Rodriguez and their brother basically told them where they were. That's because there was a CIA asset. I believe it was them. And they went in and took him out. And now they've done a deal with the vice president, which is now running the country in a temporary item. Because if you take out try to take out all the evil people, you're going to create great chaos, right? So if you have people that understand how everything works and they basically know that they have to start obeying Trump and kicking out the Russians and kicking out the Cubans and kicking out the Chinese, and Latin Americans come in to build the infrastructure and invest in the country, it's their survival, right? This is what I believe that they've done. Is now basically kick out Cuba, kick out Iran, kick out your China people, kick out Russians, and you work with the United States or else. And that is what I believe they've got Delcy Rodriguez under control of doing that. Now, she would backstab him in a minute, but she doesn't have much choice. So we need to be praying for the Venezuelan people as well. They've been, again, the Christian religion has been attacked there significantly. And then 90% poverty rate, and that's after 8 million people got displaced in a 24 million person population at that point in time. 8 million of 24. Now, there's a lot of still babies being born, et cetera, there, so the population has stabilized, but 8 million people leaving the country, and you still have a 90% poverty rate. Woo! Here's Trump saying, there will be no more oil or money going to Cuba, zero. That's all caps. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it's too late. Again, before it's too late, all in caps. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is Trump basically taking one step at a time in the dominoes. Remember, the head of the snake, I'm telling you guys, was Venezuela from an election fraud perspective. Now, obviously, the money and the power and the military is China, right? And Iran doing all the transfer payments with oil to basically hide all the money from the SWIFT system so they could do all this election fraud in 71 countries. But the head of the snake of election fraud is Venezuela and Smartmatic. And so getting Maduro's testimony and understanding exactly how to do that and who they are working with in the United States, who are senators and Republicans, senators and representatives in the House that are completely on the Venezuelan payroll because they had trillions. So suffocating them financially is, you follow the money, you cut off the money, and then you then you basically, that huge domino of the head of the snake. And that head of the snake, they remember, Venezuela was the head of the snake of the Mexican cartels. They're head of the snake of the election fraud. And they are head of the snake of getting our drugs into our country. Not to mention that when you're head of the human trafficking organizations that went through the Mexican cartels. So all of that massive money and the trillions they extorted from not only their own people, but also taking down the United States, working with China, working with Russia, working with Iran. That is just a huge revelation and exciting times to see that while Kennedy had the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Trump went about this a totally different way. And that was a beautiful thing for Kennedy to get out of the nuclear war, obviously. But what you have here is now you had a very similar situation where Iran was building factories here of drones that could reach us. And you had the cables being infiltrated by Russia so they could actually hear all our military orders that were happening through Venezuela. And then obviously taking out our local, state, and federal elections by giving us the freaks of globalists at all levels of our government. So we have many selected people that should not be in your school board, in your counties, in your not to mention the county sheriffs, all the way up to your state, all the way up to the federal level. It's been all stolen elections and rigged elections for 20 years. 20 years. And in 71 other countries. It's so important to understand that. And guys, wow, the silver breakout is something that we've been talking about for quite some time, because many truthers, especially Christian patriots, have held silver, the physical silver. If you don't have physical silver, guys, or you do have paper, I'm just telling you, you're not going to hit the upside with paper. If you have SLVs or ETFs that say, hey, I own this much silver, they sold that 370 to 1. For every ounce of silver they actually have in the vaults, this is worse than the banks and fiat currency in many ways. They sold 300 pieces of silver saying that you can get that. So guess what's going to happen? They're going to do force majeure. So when silver goes up to 300 or 400 or 500, if you have paper contracts, get out of them. If you want good advice, get the free financial consultation from Kirk Elliott and his team. 720-605-3900. Understand how you can still take advantage of this by getting physical silver. No matter if that's cash you have, no matter if it's 401ks or IRAs, understand what you can do to not miss the whole silver train. Again, this since I've been talking about this at $22, $24 an ounce, now it hit 85. It went to 86 for a while today. It's still the beginning, because they still have not completely done force majeure, which means that they would totally say, hey, paper, I'm going to give you $85, but I'm not going to let you have a piece of silver that's worth 300, 400, 500, right? That is what's happening. It is very, very serious that the banks that all have shorts are really bleeding heavily right now. So you can see right now, it looks like it's come down to 83 today, to 83 from the 86 it was earlier today. But again, that was at 78, I think, on Friday. So it's rebounded again. So, but if this is looking at a 1-year chart. This is a 1-year chart. Really interesting to see how. I'm going to go back to here. This was April 4th, not even a year ago, right? April 4th, 2025. It was at $29. So we had $29 silver in April, and it is now 83, guys. But many people believe, and I've been telling you guys forever, the real shoot up, it has not happened yet. That is when the Babylonian system crashes and we go to the gold standard, right? So that's why I'm just telling you, it's not too late to understand from Kirk what you can do to take advantage of this, either getting physical silver or getting out of paper, or taking some of your other assets and getting the real physical assets. And again, silver versus gold is still a huge ratio difference. Gold's doing well, just supporting this rally. It's gold's right now at, what is it, 45.88. It exceeded 4,600 for the first time. Keep hitting all-time high after all-time high. Bottom line, this is part of the wealth transfer, I believe. For those of you who've been listening to me for the last 5 years, And you guys are doing really good, but don't sell if you have physical silver unless you absolutely have to, because the whole separation from paper, ETFs, SLV, all that type of stuff versus the physical gold and silver that you have, that separation hasn't completely happened yet. They keep saying it's $83 for paper right now, right? But you're paying in Shanghai and in Japan $100, sometimes $130 in Japan. I think it was that, but there's a $7 or $8 spread between Shanghai or here. Sometimes goes to $12, and it's expanding. Keeps pulling it up. Pretty soon there's going to be a full separation. I'm just telling you, if you haven't listened to me yet, listen to me now. It's a smart time to go call Kirk Elliott and get advice. Okay, this is the way Used Debt Clock talks about. It says, eliminate the middleman, the Fed. This is when the Babylonian system crashes. This is why Trump has got a legal case against Jerome Powell because of the construction of the building, etc. Jerome Powell saying that's all political. Well, it's political from the standpoint of the spiritual war between Trump and the cabal, yes. But the whole point is that in 1913, when the Fed came in and completely destroyed our country and put taxes on us versus the internal revenue service versus an external revenue service, and all that burden came onto us. That is and they started doing fractional lending, right? So what they've done with silver is just as criminal as what they've done with the fiat currency. So both of those things are going to be an amazing wealth transfer once we get there. So again, just to let you know, go call Kurt Eric 720-605-3900. There's also a link down below in this video where you can just click it and get and make sure you tell them Rick B2T sent you. They'll prioritize you. And guys, this is a time to get correct advice. If you have any treasures at all, to make sure you're protecting that and using some type of real purchase versus paper. And versus, especially when you have a big 401k or IRA, especially IRAs can be converted into complete physical silver, right? That's what I did, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, and best decision of my life. Guys, make sure that you get advice from somebody that really knows all aspects of what's going on there. And again, silver at 83.72 right now, I believe, is the starting point of what is before it completely gets separated from the physical versus paper. Okay, this is what I put in the thumbnail and named this episode. Here's SG Anon saying today it's Monday, January 12th, 2026, and the U.S. Department of Labor has now posted its 5th Q post style announcement in just the last 12 days. Guys, this is just, you can argue it all about what you think the Q drops were all about. They were to wake the Anons up to research and get the populace to start thinking versus believing the Mockingbird media. I've dedicated my whole life to this since February of 2018, to wake people up to the Mockingbird media and the lies of the media. And that's why we started Faith and Freedom TV. Right there, it's in the middle there, faithandfreedom.tv. We have 25 beautiful, and by the way, Amanda Grace is live on there, Donna Clement. We've had 3 new beautiful shows come on from Joe Horn and his beautiful work. That's some of the top Christian broadcasting shows that are available now, all coming on Faith and Freedom TV. And so we did put them on live. You'll see them on live Rumble channels as well. It's a real exciting time. But here you have the U.S. Department of Labor saying it's Monday, patriots are in control. Let's get to work. And you see patriots in control with Trump there. Guys, there's no other place that phrase really comes from. That the Department of Labor, which is obviously under control of the Trump administration, saying patriots in control. Right? Well, they want us not to worry and be so anxious. That's what the Bible tells us that as well, right? Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So we're not supposed to be anxious. We present our request to God, and what happens? And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So if you know patriots are in control, you don't have to be anxious, right? God's in control, really, right? But he's in control of the patriots. And the whole point is that we need to be involved and not sit back and wait, but don't be anxious, and find your calling that the Lord has for you and move forward. But this is just one of 5 that they've done lately. Here's a M Truth Ultra talking about it. He says, the Department of Labor posted, holy shizzles, it says, the Department of Labor posted, trust the plan, trust Trump. This comes days after they posted Patriots in Control. And this was back a little while ago, where you see they posted this one right here. Department of Labor did, which was, you can see here, the U.S. Department of Labor, Patriots in Control. And so this was the second time they've done that. Here's one that said trust the plan. There's another one that actually, I put them all on the thumbnail of the show. And another one talked about America First, really establishing that. Again, that's not America alone. That's what MJT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, really messed up on it. It's not America alone, and it's not bug Trump every single day, right? But you can see, like, here's for instance, post 33687 of the Q drops. He says, listen very carefully again. Note the past 2 years. Note the next 6 years. So this is interesting. It's talking about 2019. 6 years is into 2025, right? And this was in July. So this is really talking about, this was going to be a long-term battle. Boy, have we seen that, haven't we? You were told that was going to happen. You were told what battles we face. Strategic, pre-planned, Patriots in Control, Q. That's the whole point, is that this was, sometimes you have to show the people. I believe the Lord extended the time way beyond even what they thought, obviously, because right now it's the justice phase, just kicking in right now. Here's another one that's fellow patriots. What are you about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control, freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil, abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has been rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5. And if you look at D5, that's the worst avalanche you can have, right? So that's what it's talking about. Snowball, D5. So you'll see D5 in a lot of these posts. And it says, stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. United States, we stand. WW, where we go one, we go all. WWG1, WGA. We fight. Conspiracy no more. Q. So the whole talking about the QAnon attacks, where they took Q and Anons, because Anons were researching, Q was posting, and everybody, we used to call it the QAnon movement as well, but the media took that QAnon term and maligned it with thousands and thousands of articles. Once they just kept quiet about it the first 2 years, and then once it got so big, they had to attack it. And every attack article talks about lies on the dark part of the internet. Talking about, no, it's not. You can go right now to qag.news and find it. In fact, I'll show you. It's not the dark part of the internet. There's very dark parts of the internet where you have to use special tools that will allow you to get back to all this human trafficking and all the pornography and all the really ugly stuff that's in the dark part of the internet. And that's what they said that Q was. It was not. 8chan, 4chan were public sites. It's ridiculous. And Q told us to go. So there's hundreds of sites that have the Q drops on it. My favorite is qag.news. If you type in qag.news, QAGG, .news. Geez, looks like it's not coming up for me right now. That's the one I usually use. If anybody has the most up-to-date link to the Q drops, let me know. Oh, there it is. It came up finally. QAG.news. And so you can see I can look up all these. So when we just looked at that one there, here's another one, by the way. Hold the line, riders. Justice is coming. Q. This was on September 14th, 2020. 4714 was the drop number. But I can go find that. You see how this is red? This is because they found it on QAG, because I can tell by the formatting. But right there, I could actually go type in hold the line. So if I go back over to QAG News and it says drop search numbers, I can do a search number, right? Or you can do it by a search term over here, right here. And so this is QAG.news. And I type in hold the line. We can see if it even said more than once. Looks like it was just once, but there it is, 4714. Hold the line, riders, justice is coming. And we can do the same thing with these other terms that they posted, right? Such as patriots in control. You can see a ton of them here. Patriots in control. So I just typed that up here. I'm just gonna make sure people can see that, right? I typed that in here, and I put and I want the whole word search Q only. Well, I just want to search the whole thing. So you can see, look at all these. Patriots in control was done on this is the 2019 in July, right? Pre-planned Patriot in control. We read that one. Here's another one where it says we are Q, and it has panic. When they're all panic, Patriots in control. There's tons of Patriots in control. You are the news now, right? Q. You can see here talking about Hillary Clinton crimes against children and everything. And there it is. We are the cure. Patriot in control. The world will know the truth, right? And this just goes on and on with all these. There's so many. Why did we really strike Syria? Define cover. Patriots in control. Q. Support. Smile for the camera. Patriots in control. Here you see, goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Goodbye, Mr. Mueller, when they actually lost the whole battle trying to do the Russia thing. Patriots control, Q. So, again, these are all terms that I just want to make sure many of you who did not follow this work, when you see things like this where they say Patriot control in a recent post 5 hours ago from the Department of Labor, right? That's a big deal when they're doing that, right? It's a real big deal. And when they say hold the line, right out of the Q drops as well, which we showed you there. And the other major one, let me go back to this one, is trust the plan. So let me go search on that. So I'm going to go to the QAG.news again, and I'm going to scroll up here to the type search here. So trust the plan. Trust the plan, and hit enter, and it's going to show you all the times. This time I'll go from the very first one. Wow, look how many trust the plans are. It's all over. And so here's the first one. The first one ever was on 2018 in February. That's about when I started my YouTube channel, right? I was doing a bunch of stuff on Mockingbird Media in 2017 on Facebook. But it was February 2018 I started my YouTube channel that got to 109,000 subscribers before they completely deleted it, even though it had no strikes the month before the 2020 election, right? That's when censorship really hit YouTube, and they took out hundreds of Q accounts then. Anything over 50,000 followers and above, they took us all out all the same day. It was crazy. They took out Praying Medic and In the Matrix and me and everybody that was telling the truth about this, right? I see some people talking on the right. I can actually post comments, by the way, guys, from YouTube right now, as well as Rumble, as well as Backstage in the Zoom. So Backstage Zoom, YouTube, or you can do that. So here's Jerry basically saying, I bought my silver person to person. I don't trust online stuff. I pay the money. They give me my silver. Yeah. Usually you can find a local silver dealer that you can trust and work with directly. Silver Gold Bull, I have bought really good silver from a reputable online company as well. But it's good to have local contacts, obviously. Woo! It is pretty amazing. So, okay, now we're looking at Trust the Plan. That was the first one. So there's February of 2018 where you see right here, freedom of the press is vital to retain, right? Because it wasn't, they say it was freedom of the press, but it was completely controlled by 4M talking points from Mockingbird Media by the CIA and its operatives. And that's when they killed Kennedy and took over the media completely and called everybody conspiracy theorists that did not follow their narratives. And it says, how do you retain freedom of the press if those in front of the camera, trusted by select viewers, are extensions of the arm? Exactly right. Freedom of the press is vital to retain. Trust the plan. They're a lot more good than bad. Yeah, there's great people out there, but they were the ones getting paid off were with the criminals. Here's because you can't see doesn't mean it's not ongoing. Trust the plan. There's another one that same day. Here's light saves humanity. Future proves past. Trust the plan. So a lot of these type of deltas and things completely. We have zero deltas with Trump tweeting, which would be Dan Scavino tweeting most of the time, and then Q posting. So we think Dan Scavino, who controls the Trump social media, also controlled some of the Q drops, right? Boom, boom. You have zero deltas, they call them. Many other proofs that Trump is Q plus, they call him Q plus, right? But here's that trust the plan search is as simple as that. Just go up there and hit enter, and you can scroll all the way down, and you can just see tons and tons of it. It would actually give you a count as well. I'm not going to be able to read all these. World is not how you view it. The world is not how you do it. Trust the plan. We are winning. Here's the world is not how you knew it. This is the repost of the same post where he just expanded on it. Here's another one that says, no escapes, no deals, trust the plan, happy Sunday, Q. And I believe this is during the 2018 period where they were doing massive deals. They were taking people in the military tribunals, I believe, and because we had to infiltrate the infiltrators. See, the secret societies is how they were controlling everything. And the stolen elections with secret societies and bribery with the Epstein and Diddy. And then Q's posting these. It's freaking people out as Q's doing a psyop on the deep state. That's what it is. This is a psychological operation on the deep state and Trump's back channel, right? It's the way I explain this. And when they were saying no escape, no deals, trust the plan, happy Sunday, they were pulling people in the military tribunal, showing them everything they did, saying that basically you're going to be with a firing squad and here's what we're going to do to your family. The only way you can escape that is we mic you up and we put you back out there. And we infiltrated the infiltrators. They went into their secret society meetings, and basically we were able to reverse this whole thing. That's all the Patriots got control, I believe. Here's another trust the plan. How did Q know where we're going to be in front of that picture this time? That's when they said we're talking about smiling and all that stuff. But you can see massive amount of trust the plans that you can go study for yourself. It's not the dark part of the web. It's literally available to everybody, right? The Patriots / Anons have put this in multiple sites. There's hundreds of sites that have all these Q drops. This is the one that most people do the best research with, right? It says that there's 35 drops that had trust the plan on there, right? And so when you have the Department of Labor actually saying hold the line, saying trust the plan right here, trust the plan with a picture of Trump right there. Look at that. That is a U.S. Department of Labor. Woof. And the U.S. Department of Labor saying Patriots in control. That is completely showing the world of those people who haven't caught up on the Q drops yet. From somebody, it's like me that's been read every single drop on camera with you guys and gave you links to everything that was reported on and how it tracked to the news and how now the news tracks back to many of the drops. All that's happened all the way to people that are just waking up to this. The Department of Labor is trying to show you this was a Trump back channel. This was and is still a psychological operation against the deep state, against the cabal of globalists. Exciting times. And that's why things like, I'm the acting president of Venezuela, showing you guys, Patriots are in control. You better get in line and start doing what we say and stop trying to destroy the United States, or we're going to take your country over. It's like as simple as that. And I think that's becoming pretty obvious to those that are trying to fight Trump. All right. There's a lot of other news I want to get through, so let me go through some of this real quickly. It says, chaos in L.A., U-Haul plows into an anti-Khamenei protesters. Crowd swarms the vehicle. This is interesting because here you had people that were actually, supporting the Iranian people. And some guy, and the reason we know it was politically motivated, even though the media is trying to tell us it's not, is he had signs on the side of the U-Haul that actually said no mullah, no Shah, because these guys are asking for the Shah to come back, who was a secular leader and many people think that he was corrupt as well, but nothing compared to what the Sharia law, hatred, Israel hate, the derangement syndrome that seeps in their veins, where they want to destroy and kill every single Jew that exists in the world. That is what we have in Ayatollah Khomeini and the whole mess there. Another video has been released of the U-Haul truck. So this is the U-Haul truck. Let's look at this. Now right there, you can see no Shah on the side of the truck. So he's running over people. Now the good news is most people got out of the way and there's many injuries, but nobody even went to the hospital. So that's the good news. But and so basically here's where people are trying to pray for and support the Iranian people. And you have this jerk going straight through there. He didn't realize he was going to hit such crowds that he got stuck. So this is like was not a good situation for him. He's lucky. There you can see it. No Shah, no regime. USA, don't repeat 1953. No mullah. So this guy's basically saying, you guys are jerks. You shouldn't be supporting the Iranian people against the Ayatollah. And he's driving this with that. That is there's a lot of people injured, not hospitalized. Now, what's interesting, if you keep on looking at this, they did a good job of documenting this. Here's when he got stuck. Look at that. I mean, he has no place to go because of because they hit a barrier here, and then the people surrounded him, and they were breaking his window. He's really lucky he's alive. They should have put this one first because I think this is the order. But here is he is in the truck, and all these people are coming after him, right? And but he was really lucky. There was police that were protecting him. The police are going to arrest him, but these guys want to blood. You can see there's a guy right there. The guy smashed his window. He's trying to get out. This is the guy that's stupid enough to drive. You know, they're trying to get him with the flagpole there. And here he is trying to get the cops. Because he knows that they're breaking the windows and he's going to have to get out of there. So this is a really intense situation This was really an intense situation for a while where he's trying to get out of there. The window's broken. You can see that. And then here's a view of when they finally arrest him and get him out. Here we go. I mean, and so here you can see he's getting out of there now, where they finally are going to arrest him. But they're having a bunch of police had to keep the crowd from attacking this guy, right? So I think if he would have hit and killed somebody, that he would not have survived that, probably, right? I would guess. But pretty intense stuff. That just shows you there seems like the cabal wants to divide us every way they can, right? So are you for Palestine? Are you for Israel? Are you black? Are you white? Are you what class are you? What rich versus poor? Every way they possibly can. What religion are you? And now that are you for the Shah or for Ayatollah, right? But we got to be careful not to be too distracted here, but pray for peace. And that's what's going to be happening here pretty soon. DOJ opens criminal investigation into the Fed chair Powell. Now this is where he's basically put a video out saying Trump's just trying to he's politicizing the DOJ, and it'll be interesting because then you have this idiot from Tom Tillis basically saying that he's not going to support Trump from replacing Powell because Trump is so a Republican doing that. Can you imagine that? Republican senator vows to block Trump Fed nominee over Powell investigation. So Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell faces criminal probe over the testimony about the building and the renovation project, where he lied to them because they went way over what he was saying. So they believe that he knew that and that he was lying to the Senate to get more funds, and he didn't really care. They overspend on this Federal Reserve building. Are you kidding me? We're spending just crazy amounts of money on this federal building. And then here you have Senator Tom Tillis announced that he would block any future nominee to serve the chair of the Fed following the revelation that Powell was under criminal investigation. So there's somebody that is controlled by the Fed, right? Controlled by the cabal, Tim Tillis, Rhino, completely. Sad. Here's a picture of him. They got a nice picture of him right there. Senator from North Carolina, Republican. Crazy how the people turn against Trump. It seems like every single where. Now here's Trump's truth, saying the FBI agents are total scum in their own way, no better than the insurrectionists in Portland, Minnesota, Los Angeles, etc. Cash better get them out now. And so there's a whole article here from Just the News where they found out that the Arctic frost, where they basically spied on everybody around the Trump orbit at all. So if you were a conservative that liked Trump, you were part of the Arctic frost investigations, and they illegally took your phone data and every type of your emails, your text messages, everything. But Arctic frost probe driven early on by anti-Trump FBI agent. It's claims by liberal outlet memo show. So they got a new memo out to talk about this. So now they've nailed it down, and Just the News is talking about that, right? He also circulated by email clippings from such anti-Trump outlets as Just Security, NPR, and the Washington Post, pushing for a criminal probe of Trump related to the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. So this is somebody using the left-wing propaganda. That's an FBI agent actually doing this. And so this guy is named Timothy Thibault, who left his role as the assistant agent in charge of Washington field office after his anti-Trump social post became public, organized the initial electronic communication that authorized the start of the Arctic frost probe. So they started spying on everybody. It wasn't just spying on Trump. It was spying on everyone that talked good about Trump. That's how evil the Biden administration was, and talk about weaponization, and to blame Trump for that. There's a little bit of retribution that needs to be done. And people are screaming, look at how many arrests there have been. There's been 0 arrests for this, 0 arrests for this, 0 arrests for this. And I really believe, guys, this is going to go to military tribunals. There's only so much you can do in the civil courts. We'll see how that happens. So here's T. Mitchell saying, Tom Tillis, North Carolina is crazy. Lindsey Graham rhinos. Exactly right. Here's Jerry saying, remember, we are watching a movie to wake everyone up. That's exactly right. That's what I thought. The movie is an interactive movie that we can get involved in, and the Q drops wanted us to get involved in thinking correctly, questioning everything, including them. Right? They didn't want us to just take a central narrative and believe everything. That's why they used the Socratic method of questions, right? And so it's not a movie to sit back and watch. And when they say popcorn, it's meant to relax, things you can't control. Eat the popcorn, watch the movie, but do get involved at the local level, as Flynn would always tell us, and do understand and be a digital soldier. Make sure that you know what your calling is, and use your authority in Christ. Right? This is why Alex 650 says, "You're right, Jerry. God bless you." Amen. Amen and amen. Someone was on top of the U-Haul too. As well. It was pretty crazy scene that was. Here's Trump just talking about mortgage rate sink to a 3-year low after the shock Trump move, where he's making Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae actually buy back a bunch of so instead of selling it back then and going private, he kept it in. And now it's worth way more. And he's basically made moves to bring mortgage rates down, and it's working. So this is his affordability of housing initiative. Once Powell gets out there in May, I'm sure they could cut the rates as much as 1% to 2%, I believe, two full points. And so this will just allow people to be able to afford homes once again, which will be a big part of this. And those people that had silver will be able to, if this goes to $300, $400, $500 an ounce, that could be part of that wealth transfer, and all this coming down could be a big win for many, many people. And he's also trying to get not only the mortgage rates down, but also telling that credit card companies can't charge more than 10% by the 20th. That's pretty crazy. Do you think that's going to happen? Let me know in the comments whether you think all the credit card companies are going to all of a sudden change their 29% interest to 10%. That would be big if they did. I think they'll fight them all the way with the legal. They're a bunch of criminals for these banking organizations, right? The impact was swift today. New figures out this afternoon show that the average rate on a 30-year mortgage dropped 22 basis points to 5.99%, according to the Mortgage News Daily, matching the lowest since February of 2023 and making a sharp fall from last year's peak above 7%. So it went all the way up to 7%, and now it's fallen down to 5.99, about 6%. So a full point difference based on Trump doing this. Small drops can add up. On a medium-priced U.S. home of about $425,000, a buyer with a 20% down payment would save roughly $118 a month if rates fell to 5.9%. So that's this would be vital for people. And we also have the property tax issue, which is a whole other thing that I think is going to be attacked as well. Here's Trump saying, "Stop the Netflix cultural takeover." Basically, Netflix buying Warner Brothers. So there's a big fight for Warner Brothers now. And so basically, you're going to bring the wokeness. It looks like they had a higher offer from other companies, but they actually wanted to go with the woke company, right? Which Obama and Susan Ryan are on the board of that. So, guys, please cancel your Netflix, please. Angel Studios has better movies anyway, right? That's just one example. And you can get plenty of entertainment without having a Netflix account. Please get rid of your Netflix account. They hate Trump with a passion, and when they did a documentary on Jeffrey Epstein, they knew that he'd kicked him out of the club and hadn't talked to him in 15 years and was an FBI informant, but yet they show pictures of him and Jeffrey from before that, acting like he went to the island when he never did, never talking about Bill Clinton going to the island for 26. They're a bunch of liars. This is the mainstream media, but now they're the movie-oriented arts and entertainment cabal talking points, right? So the whole when we talk about the 7 mountains of cultural influence, arts and entertainment are key, and Netflix is your enemy, not your friend. Please cancel your Netflix subscription and put that money into Angel Studios and other places. Here's Wall Street. Let's see. I want to go here. Here's the whole article from OAN. I'm not going to go into that. You'll have that in the show notes. Remember, you can free show notes. Just go to blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2 teach.com. And there on the front page, you'll get my show notes. You get a summary of the show as well as a link, every single link I've shown you here. And so it's a great way to be a digital soldier and have all that access to those links. Make sure you're on the email show note list at blessedtoteach.com. Trump, whites treated very badly after civil rights policies. And so he's basically going into, especially for college students, Asians, whites can't have much better scores than somebody of a person of color, and all of a sudden the person of color gets in and the white person doesn't. That's what mainly thing he's talking about. Many people trying to fight that, but that's just a fact. And I think they're finally working to reverse that. ICE agent at the center of Minneapolis shooting reportedly in hiding as federal officers swarm home and pack up his belongings. So this whole shooting in Minneapolis, I purposely put this at the end of the show because that's just where the cabal media wants you focused on, right? Focus you on this. And I already reported on this a little bit on Thursday and basically gave you my opinion on this, where I believe that there's no question that she panicked and was trying to escape, wasn't trying to kill him, but still she's a felon at that point in time, and she made a stupid decision. But I also thought it was stupid of the cop to actually shoot her because she was turning, in my opinion, and even though she hit him and bumped him, I don't think he was really fearing for his life. Now, he'd been dragged like for 100 yards and by a legal alien before when he smashed the windows. This cop was aggressive. He came in the front of the car, he dashed windows, and I just don't think he should have shot. But the whole point of this is that they want all your attention here, right? All your attention here. And there's all kinds of different angles are showing now, but obviously there's a mob of leftists that were there. She was part of a paid, this Renee Good who got shot. was literally moved to Minnesota, quit her job, moved to Minnesota to be part of this, paid agitator. She and her wife being paid agitators, right? So she has kids and lost custody of a couple of them. That's a whole nother story. I just would like everybody to be careful of focusing too much on this versus all the other things that we need to be focused on. And then here you have Ilhan Omar saying Trump's only doing it for PR purposes. No justification for Trump's admin at Somali fraud crackdown. So obviously they're there cracking down on the Somalis and getting the illegal aliens out of the city, and of course, being the jihadist that she is, Ilhan Omar's talking about Trump every chance she gets. This is an interesting guy. This Portland police chief officer actually starts crying a little bit because he feels bad for the Hispanics in his city, and that the fact that the illegal Venezuelan migrants that actually attacked the border patrol here actually were part of Trens de Agua. So it's like, but it shows you that he feels under a lot of pressure, I believe, is what was happening here. And
for just a moment, specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks, because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger. This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or.
So here he's having to be totally, completely, politically correct. I think the whole takeaway from this video is that you had him crying because he had to admit that Trens de Agua. He said he didn't even want to talk about it, right? But the fact is that this is the case. We have our illegal migrants have been infiltrated with criminals, right, and gangs that want to destroy America. And the fact that that's true is something that he shouldn't have to feel all this pressure of actually not saying it, right? Just shows you the political correctness movement is a pain. Let's just be honest. Most of the legal immigrants are going to support you, right? Trump pledges to uncover leftist groups countering ICE. And so I think this is important. Let's listen to Trump himself here.
The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators. And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out, who's paying for it. With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement, is outrageous.
Yep, it is outrageous, isn't it? And that I think we can all agree with that. All right, guys.
And meanwhile, President Trump is weighing military action in Iran. He's previously called the killing of protesters a red line. Here's the president yesterday on that.
That's a tab that I'm going to have to eliminate.
Well, no, they're starting to. It looks
figure
like
out what entity that is. They should never do that to us. All right. So I want to go to a couple more things here, and we'll wrap it up. I showed you the thing on Marco Rubio will be president of Cuba. People are laughing about this. Sounds good to me, says Trump. So Trump is not shy to be talking about some things, right? It's like he's. I love his bluntness. There's no question about that. You can't argue with that, right? Here's the America First things we were talking about. Hey, we got Larry Ballard coming up on Thursday. Man, he's really his second book's about ready to come out. He's done such great work, and we just did an exclusive on Faith and Freedom TV, by the way. That's Faith and Freedom TV, where you find the only time you'll see me and him talking during the weeks that he's not live. And I interviewed him last Thursday, and have it live up on Faith and Freedom TV. It's exclusive. The only place you'll find that interview with Larry Ballard and me discussing the silver squeeze is on Faith and Freedom TV. That's faithandfreedom.tv right there. So make sure you go find that exclusive there. We also have Dr. Artist coming on Monday, the 19th. So that's exciting. And there's a bunch of, we're trying to reschedule 107 because we missed, he was overseas and time-wise missed our time he was supposed to be on last week, but we will get him on as well. We're also rescheduling many other great patriots such as SG and Sheila Holm and many others that we're going to be having on the show. We're going to be highlighting some of these awesome patriots that are on part of Faith and Freedom TV. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you are subscribed to the Faith and Freedom TV channels. We have 4 live 24/7 channels now on Rumble, as well as faithandfreedom.tv, which is a web app. And you can download it on your TV and download it on your mobile apps. Hey, with that, guys, we're moving over to the next part of this program, which is we do this at this channel here. So we're going to be on Growing Your Faith or Word and Worship, both on Faith and Freedom TV, right, as well as Rumble. There's no YouTube or Facebook because of the music licensing. They're really, but this is where we're going to be going live next. I will put, as I put this together, we'll be putting what they call a Rumble raid. They're new. So those of you watching here will be moved over there, and you can opt out if you'd like, but we'll be over there in about 10 minutes. But with that, I'm going to play one of my Rick's Alone Time with God, and then we'll move over to this. Nothing is more satisfying than to be walking in your calling. That's what I heard in my Rick's Alone Time with God blog on Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 at 6:57 p.m. And again, the title is Nothing is More Satisfying Than to Be Walking in Your Calling. And I said, Lord, how are you tonight? I am well and accomplishing my purposes through my children, which brings joy to my heart. I was grieved to my heart in the times of Noah, but I have joy when I see my children let me use them for my purposes. Allow me to yoke them, renewing their minds and spending time with me. This is special and brings me joy. I also love to bring joy to my children. I often have to discipline, but that is usually part of getting you to better understand your calling and to get your mind correct so that I can give you the desires of your heart without it creating conflict in your life. I have to wait to give my children the desires of their hearts until they are prepared and mature enough to handle them. This is why you must delight in me, because that is not possible without renewing your mind and spending time with me. This is when we spend time together and you enjoy it. Then you end up enjoying the journey. I will put you on that which is aligned with your calling. Then, once you are walking in the calling to which you've been called, you will find things so much easier. As you walk in this calling, you are allowing me to be your God in whom you trust. Your maturity in being able to connect with me is the key. You'll be able to hear my voice and avoid the pitfalls of the enemy. For those of you who know you are not walking in your godly calling, I tell you, now is the time. The time to get so near me that blessings start to flow, because your understanding will increase to how you were designed and what strongholds I've assigned to you to destroy. Nothing is more satisfying than to be walking in your calling and feel and see me flow through you. This allows you to delight in me, and the desires of your heart will arrive in my timing. You will know that you are living the abundant life, not because you are worshipped by the world, but because you get to see the divine happen through your actions. You get to see impossible things happen as my favor rests upon you and those around you. So my children, take action by seeking first my kingdom, and do not let the enemy take you off course. Find the narrow gate and stay on the path toward it. As you work in your calling, it will be natural to walk by faith and not by sight. You'll be walking with me day in and day out. And these are the days I put you on earth for this very time. Walk with me, my children. Walk with me. Discover more with Rick. All right. So that was a word from the Lord that we do, that I usually get 3 or 4 of those. I'm spending time alone with the Lord and record those on Rick's Alone Time God with blog on neighborhood.social. And I also record those and put them on shorts, and you can see a bunch of those on Faith and Freedom TV as well. So we're now about ready to move over to the growing your faith. Again, I'm going to move over to that just to show you one more time. See if I can find this real quick. There it is. So it's again growing your faith, or word and worship over there. So there's going to be a raid going over there for those of you on Rumble. Otherwise, come and join us at Faith and Freedom TV or here. God bless you guys. I'm going to confirm the raid now. So we're going to be over there in a bit. See you guys second. Bye-bye.
Elitist media deceives, but Faith and Freedom TV amplifies truth. Our world-leading platform delivers news, teachings, worship, movies, and music rooted in biblical values and constitutional patriotism, inspiring faith and liberty. We inspire, equip, and amplify Christian patriots to share powerful stories of faith, family, and freedom. With live events, thousands of on-demand videos, and access on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, and iOS, we're transforming culture globally for God and country. New content is coming to ignite faith. Join our mission to counter deception. Visit faithandfreedom.tv and download the Faith and Freedom TV app today.